Hey YouTube, it's ICU, and today I'm incredibly excited to show you how to jailbreak iOS 8.3 completely untethered on all devices. Now to start off, there will be annotations down below at the bottom of this video that will allow you to actually skip ahead once you click them for you jailbreak veterans. So I recommend watching this video on the desktop version of YouTube. However, if you're new to jailbreaking, watch this video in its entirety to ensure that you don't encounter any sort of errors. Now let's start off by going over the supported devices. This latest version of TaiG, being version 2, includes support for the iPhone 4S, iPhone 5, iPhone 5S, iPhone 5C, iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, the iPad 2, the original iPad mini, the second generation iPad mini, the iPad mini 3, the third generation iPad, the fourth generation iPad, the iPad Air 2, and last but not least, the fifth generation iPod Touch, which is what I'm going to be using to demonstrate with in today's tutorial. Also, you will need to be on a Windows-based PC. So if you don't have one, if you're on a Mac, you can actually set up a virtual machine, which I have running right here, or you can borrow a friend's Windows-based PC. I will actually have an annotation on the screen now concerning the Mac status of the jailbreak. So if in the future a new and updated utility is released to include support for Mac OS X, I will let you guys know there. Now, if you updated to the current version of iOS that your device is on via the Settings app, meaning you went to Settings and you performed an over-the-air or OTA update, you will actually have to restore to iOS 8.3 inside of iTunes, as you will most definitely encounter issues post jailbreak. Things will just start to kind of slow down. You'll experience random crashes in the future. So I definitely recommend restoring now while iOS 8.3 is still the latest public firmware. Also, if you just want to ensure that you don't encounter issues, then definitely restore as well. And to do that, it's very simple. You can retain all of your data. Just plug your device into your computer, launch iTunes, create a backup, restore to iOS 8.3, restore from your backup, come back here, and then follow the remainder of this video to jailbreak iOS 8.3 successfully. Now, it's paramount that if you're watching this video in the future and 8.4 is public, that you not restore and that you just deal with the complications that OTA updates will undoubtedly cause. Because as of now, we don't know whether TaiG will include support for iOS 8.4. It's scheduled to be released at the end of this month. I will keep you guys completely notified on that though, and what will happen in the future for iOS 8.4 and whether we'll be able to jailbreak on it. So be sure to click that subscribe button down below next to my channel name if you have yet to. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to do inside of the Settings app before we actually proceed. I'm going to increase my brightness here a little bit and launch Settings. All right, and first and foremost, inside of Settings, you're going to need to go to Passcode. If you have a Touch ID enabled device, it will say Touch ID and Passcode, and you have to turn it off. As you can see, I don't even have the option to turn it off. I have the option to turn it on. That's because it's already disabled. So if you have a Touch ID device, disable everything in there pertaining to Touch ID and Passcode lock. That is important, so that way the jailbreak functions as expected. Next, you're going to need to scroll down below it to iCloud, and if you're not signed in, you need to sign into your iCloud account. All right, and once you do, you need to scroll down and turn off Find My Device inside of iCloud. So Settings, iCloud, and then turn off Find My iPhone, Find My iPad, or Find My iPod in this case. It will depend based on your device. Now I'm going to disable it by entering my passcode now. So as you can see, Find My iPod was indeed disabling there. Now going inside of Settings, General, About, down below at the bottom for the version, you'll notice that this iPod Touch is indeed running iOS 8.3. Okay, and you will need two things downloaded. First and foremost, TaiG version 2 being the latest iteration. So if you have something to handle zip or compressed files, this may interfere with that, but because I don't, all you have to do is just double click on the file that you get when you download it and then drag it to your desktop. Now it's asking me to replace it because I already have it on my desktop. So now it is successfully extracted, and I'm just going to bring it over here into view. So we have TaiG version 2 now, and you also need iTunes, but chances are good you're on iTunes version 12.1 or higher. If you are, you need to downgrade to iTunes 12.0.1. Otherwise, TaiG will simply hang at 20%. Now, because we want to successfully utilize TaiG to jailbreak, again, we must downgrade iTunes. It's very easy to do so, and I will actually have a download link to iTunes version 12.0.1 as well as TaiG down below in the more info. There will be a post on my website which contains just direct links there. So visit the post first. And now let's go over the steps to actually uninstall iTunes completely and downgrade it successfully. If you're already on 12.0.1 or lower though, you can actually just skip this portion. So you're going to need to launch the control panel, and from there you have to go inside of programs and features to uninstall. So launch control panel on Windows and then go to uninstall a program, and you need to uninstall everything pertaining to iTunes and pertaining to Apple. So you have to uninstall iTunes as well as Bonjour, Apple software update, Apple mobile device support, and Apple application support. So uninstall absolutely everything. And once you've done so, then you're actually going to need to bring up Windows File Explorer here, and you have to go to your local disk. So just local disk C followed by users, your name, in my case Tanner, and then you have to go to music. So scroll down to music, iTunes, and then you're going to see this file right here, iTunes library. Now I've already taken the liberty of renaming it, so at the end I just added _back. We want to keep that in there just in case, so that way we can revert it if we need to. So just rename that, and once you have done so successfully, you can reboot your PC, and then from there install iTunes version 12.0.1, and it's always best to give it another reboot after installing it before we continue. Okay, now that we've downgraded iTunes and we have everything out of the way as far as our device is concerned, you can connect to your computer via a standard USB cable and launch iTunes if it doesn't automatically pop up. Now, because it brought me over here to Mac OS X, I need to reassociate the device with my virtual machine. Okay, so now after connecting my iPod to Windows here, I have a message on my device itself. It asks me if I want to trust the connection with the computer. So you do need to authenticate this before you can continue. So tap on trust on your device as well as continue on your PC. Now, if you don't get this prompt, or if iTunes doesn't automatically pop up, you need to launch iTunes and at the very least confirm that it does recognize your device successfully. Now, if you have connected your device to your computer since you last restored, chances are good you've already done this step. But if you have yet to, you do need to authenticate it. So it's saying welcome to your new iPod. Because I did recently restore it, I'm going to click on continue, and actually we're going to close out of iTunes once it finishes that sync there. But again, you do need to confirm that iTunes recognizes your device successfully. Otherwise, TaiG will not function as expected. Now we can go ahead and run it. You need to right click TaiG and do run as administrator, and then say yes to the prompt. And once TaiG pops up, you'll see at the top, here comes iOS 8.3 before it checks the jailbreak environment and proceeds. So here we are inside of TaiG. We have two options at the top. It says Cydia. Below that, it says 3K Assistant. We obviously want Cydia. It's checked by default. So is 3K Assistant, but we don't want that. So let's go ahead and uncheck 3K Assistant because it's just a third-party Chinese distribution platform. We're not interested in that whatsoever. So we can click on the X to that, and then we're going to click on Start. I'm going to bring my iPod Touch over here into view so that way we can see it throughout the duration of this process. Now remember, if it gets stuck at 20% at the very beginning, that's because you're on iTunes 12.1 or higher. You do need to downgrade to 12.0.1. And if you also get stuck at any other portion, that's because you need to restore. So follow the method that I outlined previously. All right, now I'm just going to slide to unlock to continue here, and it still says jailbreaking inside of TaiG. We're actually going to close out of iTunes. We got a little pop-up there. Let's go ahead and let TaiG do its thing. All right, and there we are. We're moving beyond 20% now. We know that this is going to work successfully. If for whatever reason you have any other complications during the jailbreak process, then I recommend disabling Wi-Fi or entering airplane mode, but you don't have to, again, unless you encounter complications. And if you do, best bet is to restore and then either enter airplane mode or disable Wi-Fi. Now we're moving along just fine. We're at 60% injecting right now. This is one of the steps that could take the longest, so just exercise patience. Okay, we're already past that now. We're at 80% and it's continuing. You know that if you get past 60%, you are good to go and you're golden, and it should jailbreak successfully. So let's go ahead and wait for it now. And like injecting, executing at 90% is one of the other long steps, so just remain patient. All right, and there we go. It is restarting. It's saying it's at 99%. We should be at 100% soon, but once it comes back up and once it finishes rebooting, we will be good to go. Okay, and now as you can see, it says jailbreak succeeded. Thank you for using TaiG tool. Please enjoy your jailbroken device. So closing out of TaiG, we can let the iPod Touch come back up here, and we will have Cydia. All right, iTunes is already up now, and it's going to recognize the device shortly. Once it does, we will be at the lock screen. Okay, here we are. Let's slide to unlock now. Swiping over, you can see we do have Cydia. So tap into it to open it. I'm actually going to close out of iTunes now, and I'm also going to unplug the iPod Touch. Now this step could take some time. Cydia will actually have to reorganize the file system. As you can see here, it says preparing file system. Cydia will exit when complete. Do not exit yourself, meaning do not press the home button and do not do anything else, because if Cydia is not able to fully execute this stage, you will have to restore. Also, Sorik, the creator of Cydia, recently said that mobile substrate isn't fully compatible with iOS 8.3 yet. He's in the process of updating it, so I will actually have an annotation on the screen once that happens. Stay tuned, subscribe if you have yet to, because mobile substrate is what's required to use pretty much everything from Cydia. So again, just be sure to keep it locked to my YouTube channel as well as my Twitter account at iCrackYourIDevice to be notified on any new developments in that department. Okay, here we go. We have the Apple logo now. It's not a full reboot, it's just a respring. It should be at the lock screen shortly. Here we are. Let's go ahead and slide to unlock. We can scroll over and launch Cydia now for a second time, and it won't have to prepare the file system again. Of course, it will just open as expected. So let's go ahead and wait for it now. All right, here we go. I'm actually going to scroll down to the bottom really quick to show you guys that Cydia confirms this 5th gen iPod is on 8.3. All right, so down below at the bottom for the version, it confirms that this 5th generation iPod Touch is running iOS 8.3. It says iPod 5.1, iOS 8.3, Cydia 1.1.16. So again, you know that this iPod is running the latest public firmware as of recording this video, being iOS 8.3. And we can actually go to the changes section, and you'll notice that we have packages here, and we can install them and we can upgrade them. You should have at least one upgrade once you jailbreak. And I'm just going to install this to confirm that it does indeed work and that Cydia is functioning as expected on iOS 8.3. I hope you guys like this video and this tutorial. Again, it is a little longer because there are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration to ensure that you successfully jailbreak your device. And if you've taken into account everything that I've gone over throughout this video, then you will definitely have a jailbroken device by the end of it. So of course, I'll have a lot of new jailbreak coverage to come. So one more big thumbs up and a round of applause to TaiG guys who made it possible to once again jailbreak the latest public firmware. Now, for those of you interested in winning a brand new iPad Air 2, just be sure to navigate to freeappsfast.com inside of Mobile Safari and sign up. Once you do, come back here and leave a relevant comment down below in the comment section, as well as rate this video up. And if you guys want to be updated more often, such as when I release new videos covering various things such as jailbreaking, just be sure to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Enjoy your jailbroken devices, guys. I'm so glad it's finally here, and until next time, this is ICU signing out.